And there's a beep says we're recording right now. Hi, everybody. Joe Wells back once again. The NCAA football official study sessions here on AnnouncerJoe.com. I mentioned yesterday, basically, this whole series is me preparing for a football clinic. I've been officiating football for some time. I'm going to make the crack at bumping up to NCAA level officiating, and this whole study session here is sort of the journey to do so and sort of mapping what I'm doing here for training. I'm not a super expert official, but if this is my process, if it helps you out and you want to participate, great. Follow along. We've been using this guide. This is one I mentioned here, the Reading Study Guide for NCAA football rules. The 2019 edition is the last one out. But today, day one, I'm going to take a little bit of a detour. Excuse me. I had a conversation today which got me looking through the rule book, looking for a definition. And through part of the conversation, we sort of got a little contentious a couple times, and it came up to a point where the person I was talking to obviously hadn't looked up the definitions and had actually sort of bragged about not doing so. Oh, who needs to do that? It's a common sense what it is. No. That sort of got me on this bit of a tirade tonight. I want to go over this discussion and discuss how important this is. First of all, you see right here, this is the rule book. If you're going to get involved with officiating, it's important. Get a rule book. You must possess a rule book. The NCAA rulebook is a great resource. As a matter of fact, you can download it for free. If you want it in electronic format, go right ahead. If you download it to a Kindle or something like that, I think it's a free download. You can download the PDF, which is what I have here. I've got a hard copy somewhere. I think the hard copy is like $20 or $30, but I think mine's at work actually. I think I threw it in my gear bag. And that's where I sort of flip through once in a while, and I've got downtime. So I think that's where I left my hard copy. But I have a PDF version here. I look through it on my computer. And then when I want specific things, I can print it up like this. So rule number one, get yourself a rule book if you follow along with this. You can just go online, use a search, find NCAA football rule book, and you'll get a few options pop up there. But the NCAA website has got several options available. You can download it for free and so forth. So get yourself a rule book. That's rule number one. Now, what I discussed here was actually, it's in section 2 of the rulebook, and that is the definitions. Excuse me again. Like I said, a bit of the discussion I had earlier, the person was a bit contentious and said, well, it's common sense, I don't have to worry about it. It's only common sense. No. You must study the rulebook. The rulebook is 220-some pages long. I believe there's 22 pages of definitions. Okay. Definitions. If you think of it this way. Okay, when you build a house, what do? You go out and just throw down 4 walls and a roof and call it good? Oh, wow, that's not a good house at all, huh? No engineering degree there whatsoever, huh? But the concept, you just throw a house down and call it good? No, why not? There's no foundation. It's not anything solid. You need a good foundation, a solid foundation, to support the weight of the house and give you something to go on. Same concept with the definitions. This is the foundation of officiating right here. The definitions will outline everything in the game. Some of the rules are found right here by defining what something may be, an item, an action, or some other thing may be. It's right here in the definitions. It's important to learn your definitions, put the effort into learning them, and put some effort into going through them and understanding them, just like we talked about understanding the rules yesterday in the Reading Study Guide. Same with the definitions. You must understand the definitions. First things first, right at the very start of the game here, get up closer here for you. Approved rulings and official signals. Article 1, an approved ruling, AR, is an official decision on a given statement of facts. It serves to illustrate the spirit and application of the rules. The relationship between the rules and an approved ruling is analogous with, screw that, didn't I? To that between statutory law and a decision by the Supreme Court. An official signal refers to the official football signals 1 through 47. We have 47 signals we have to know. So essentially what it just said is right here, these are the rules. These are the approved rulings. If it's in this section, this is what we have to go by. And as I said, there's over 20-some pages of definitions. Everything you can possibly think of is in here, and these are some great concepts. It's things to learn. Like we said yesterday, reading the reading guide, you have to be able to read the rule, explain the rule, understand the rule, and comprehend how it's used. A live ball. Something that simple. It seems like something where you think, that's like the guy I talked to online. Oh, no big deal. It's common sense. No, a live ball is a ball in play. A pass, kick, or fumble that has not yet touched the ground is a live ball in flight. A dead ball. A dead ball is a ball not in play. A loose ball. It goes through everything right through here. So this is why it's important to learn these basics. The foundation of the game right here in the definitions. Some other points we bring up right here. The possession. There's a whole section on possession here on page 32. Fumbling, a muff, batting, touching, blocking a scrimmage kick. These are all defined of what it takes to possess a ball. To fumble, muff, bat, or touch a ball. Possessions on this side here, section 4. Switch my 2 pages up for a second. I was just talking about that a second ago before I jumped online here tonight. But all these things are in the rule book. So by definition, lines, sideline. A sideline runs from end line to end line on each side of the field and separates the field of play from the area that's out of bounds. The entire sideline is out of bounds. So there, by definition, your sideline goes down the side of the field. It's a solid white line. By definition, the whole sideline's out of bounds. And we have that ball carrier puts his foot down, steps over the line, and just touches. He just barely touched the line. Well, the second they touch the line, he's out of bounds. The entire line is out of bounds. So that's why it's important to have these definitions down. Now, on some of these here, when we take a look at the rules, I talked just about taking notes, and we talked about the writing concepts about writing things down, being able to explain them, and so forth. That's when we talk about reading the rules here and going something like this. So basically, in a if I have my notebook over here, I was putting this down. A fumble, Article 1. To fumble the ball is to lose player possession by any act other than passing, kicking, or successful handing. So it'd be a handoff. The status of the ball is a fumble. So very simple. If you write down, like in the notes, we talk about something like this. Section 11, Article 1. So we have our section right. We're going to write our note down just like this. Fumble definition. It's hard to write with this, right? I hope you understand this for the most part. In my notebook, this of course will be a little bit neater with an actual pen. To fumble the ball is to lose possession. So I would put that down. If you lose possession, that's an important note. So if you lose possession by any other act than passing, kicking, or handing. So right here alone, when you study your notes, you write down your notes like this. Section 11, Article 1, a fumble. Definition of fumble is to lose possession, and losing possession by any other means than passing, kicking, or handing. So in other words, if a person passes a ball, do they fumble? No. By definition, it's not a fumble. If someone has possession of the ball and they kick the ball, like on a scrimmage kick, do they fumble the ball? No. By definition, that's not a fumble. That's a kick. And by handing the ball, so a quarterback gets a snap, turns around, hands the ball to a running back as he goes by. Did that quarterback fumble the ball by definition? No, he didn't, because he handed the ball. So these are important facts to go through. As you go through the rules, we'll come by a certain rule that says that talks about a fumble and possession, and then you get to a point where it may become a point of the play by definition or by ruling if a person fumbles the ball. We'll talk more about that later on, of course. But this is just the idea, like I said. I want to make sure we get this concept down for right now, and that is to go through the definitions one by one, read the entire section, read each definition. As you read the definition, write your notes, your section, your article, the topic, and what makes it the topic, what makes the important points of the topic. The definitions are the foundation of what we'll be doing for training. So it's important to get these down. All right. Now, like I said, right now I'm on the midnight rotation. Now, this is about 1:15 in the morning, than my normal time to be up anyways. I'm sort of killing time on my day off. And I'm going to spend the next hour doing just what I told you to do just now. I'm going to take the definitions. I'm going to go through, write the notes, and we'll have a nice little notebook set up with the definition when we're done. So once again, thanks for tuning in. About 10 minutes here on the tape, so we're going to cut this off now. I'll get to work here. Hope you enjoyed this little talk. Follow along. Maybe do some reading yourself. Look up the rule book online if you don't have a copy already. Get it, look through the definitions, and we'll touch base when we come back again later on, okay? Once again, thanks a lot for tuning in. My name is Joe Wells here with AnnouncerJoe.com. As always, I'm going to be trying to get ready for the testing procedures this fall or this spring for the NCAA Football Officials Program. Please follow along. If you like the program, just like, follow, share, and we'll see you later on. Thank you very much.